Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Lifelong Lessons. Today I want to talk to you about some funny phrases you might hear lawyers say. For example, you might hear an attorney say, Nunc Pro Tunc. Yes, that actually is a legal phrase that means something. What it is, it's a Latin phrase, and Latin is often used in the legal profession. You see, our legal system predominantly came from Europe, and Europe's legal system predominantly started back in Rome, and it's the Roman Empire that controlled all of Europe. And of course, Latin was the predominant language, and believe it or not, several phrases have carried through and are used today in our legal system. Some of those phrases are being used because there are not English words that satisfactorily describe what the Latin phrase means. So I'm going to talk about one of those phrases today. You might hear it in civil lawsuits. It's called res ipsa loquitur. Res ipsa loquitur. What that means is the fact speaks for itself. Now I'm sure that hasn't really helped you any. Let me give you an example. When you have to prove your case, you have to prove it by evidence, direct evidence, circumstantial evidence. Sometimes you don't need any evidence at all, and that's when res ipsa loquitur comes into play. For example, let's say you're standing on the sidewalk and a piano comes falling out of the sky from a window on the 5th floor. The act speaks for itself. A piano does not fall out of a 5th-story window unless someone was negligent. In other words, if you're the person that was injured, your attorney's not going to have to go and prove how the piano came out of the window, whether it was pushed out of the window, whether it was a slanted floor, whether the window broke open. In other words, the fact of the matter speaks for itself. You don't have to prove why it fell. Somebody must have been negligent. And you can go ahead and sue the owner of the premises or the window, the apartment where it came out. Otherwise, you have to have circumstantial or direct evidence. We'll talk about those in some other episode. But I just wanted to tell you that when you do talk to lawyers, you're going to find them throwing around all sorts of words, and in all likelihood, if you don't know what the words are, they're in Latin, because that's where they carried from back in the old Roman days. That's all for today. Remember, as long as you have a thirst for learning, you'll never cease to grow.